Hey there, I'm Zimnoch, and in this episode, I'm going to go over on how you can actually postpone a foreclosure sale date. So I'm actually going to walk you through a real-life situation that just took place within the last week in my office, where one of my agents ran into a person that was facing foreclosure that we didn't know about until about 2 weeks prior from the sale date. So I'm going to actually go into what we ended up doing in this specific situation to postpone the sale date. Now, every situation is different, right? So it doesn't mean that this is exactly the protocol for every foreclosure sale postponement, but I could tell you if you follow some of this, it should probably work in your situation as well. So here's what happened. One of my agents does some direct mail, right? She's also an investor who buys properties, but she's also licensed with my brokerage, right? So she does some direct mail. One of those people called her. She met with that person at the house and offered different solutions. They realized that the best solution for that particular property is to list it on the market, and because it didn't need that much work. Well, as she went further into this whole situation with the client, they realized, or my agent realized, that there is a foreclosure sale date coming up in about 2 weeks. This is about end of third week of July, sale date first week of August. And the seller themselves didn't know until they received this letter, right? So now my agent was like, oh crap, like what do we do here? Like we don't have enough time probably, but you know what, let me call the bank. Because as she collected all of the liens against the property, realized it's a short sale. So she called the bank on behalf of the client, and the first person she talked to said, hey, sorry, we can't really help you because we need 37 days to do the short sale for any client, and we don't have 37 days, so we can't help you. That was it. And then my agent calls me, he's like, Randy, what do we do? Here's what happened. Like, we just got this client and then they said, we don't have enough time. I was like, all right, well, okay. So I went through all of my past experiences because I negotiated hundreds of short sales when we had the boom of foreclosures and short sales, a decade ago. And I was like, okay, well, let's find out who the trustee is, right? Because if there is a foreclosure sale date, that is usually in most states ran by an attorney firm, and as they call it, trustee. So that's public information. She found that out, called the trustee. Trustee said, no, sorry, we can't help you. You need to talk to the bank. The reason I suggested that, because that has worked for me in the past, right? Not every time, but it was an option. I was like, all right, well, that didn't work. So she calls me back. She's like, all right, well, that didn't work. What do we do next? I'm like, all right, well, I was like, guess what? Just because that one person said no doesn't mean the second person won't. I was like, I need you to call back and ask to speak to a manager. Well, she called back, got transferred to a foreclosure department, ended up speaking to the portfolio manager, and ended up then getting the actual seller on the phone with that manager and enrolled them in the hardship that that person is going through. And the person really has a pretty bad hardship, right? The actual client. So the client explained everything that's happening as far as the divorce and what's going on, and like really enrolled the manager into the story. So literally, after we submitted a contract on that property, because the manager said, you got to send me a contract. So we actually got a contract, and they're like, well, we'll email you back a response. And within days, my agent got an email, sale postponed till I think mid-September. So now we bought ourselves over a month, right? So the point of the story really is, what I would like you to take away is never give up. Don't take no, that it's a definite final no. Instead, press in, because what will happen is that I find that every time I call back the bank, I end up speaking to a different person that has a different reaction, right? And especially if you enroll them into the story and you actually get into the hardship of your client, what you might find, one of those people will actually have true feelings, right, for that person and not treat them just as a number. And that's the person that will most likely help you. And if you can't even get that person to help you, make sure you ask to speak to the manager and don't give up. And that's how you create a win-win. Analyzing a property before you buy it is obviously very important. However, what I find that most people just do it wrong. And I know that alone, one mistake could cost you tens and thousands of dollars. It could literally cost you your business. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I created a step-by-step property analysis guide sheet to walk you through exactly what to look for to make sure your deal that you're looking at is worth buying. To get the property analysis guide sheet, just go to randyzimnoch.com.